Hello and welcome to a new episode of Africa Today, and we are going to shed the light today on the famine in South Sudan. But first we're going to start with this, with some leads, and starting from Libya, where 74 migrants were washed ashore on the western Libya on Tuesday. The drownings are the latest tragedy along the dangerous Libya-Italy smuggling route in several months, and we have more about this story in the following report.
The Libyan Red Crescent has said it recovered the bodies of 74 people who washed ashore on Tuesday near Zawiya on Libya's northern coast. The Red Crescent said that a torn rubber boat was found nearby and that they expected more bodies to surface, as such boats usually carry up to 120 people. The drownings are the latest tragedy at sea after migrant deaths rose to record levels along the Libyan-Italy smuggling route over the past month. More than 270 people migrating are believed to have drowned in the Mediterranean in the first weeks of 2017, according to the International Organization for Migration, IOM. In 2016, more than 5,000 deaths at sea were recorded, making it the deadliest year on record. The turmoil in Libya has enabled human trafficking to thrive, leading to the smuggling of thousands of migrants across the Mediterranean. Most of the migrants are from sub-Saharan African countries seeking to escape poverty and find a better life in Europe.
Welcome back, and moving to Uganda, where the UN refugee agency UNHCR is concerned about the current refugee crisis in Uganda, describing it as the largest refugee crisis in Africa. This follows the displacement of thousands of South Sudanese refugees who have been forced to flee their country due to the ongoing conflict. Just last week, the UN agency said more than 1.5 million asylum seekers have taken refuge in Uganda since the civil war that erupted in South Sudan in December 2013. Humanitarian organizations continue to appeal for more donor funds to deal with the refugee crisis in Uganda. And moving to South Sudan, and there is famine has formally declared in parts of South Sudan. The United Nations said on Wednesday, warning that war and a collapsing economy have left some 100,000 people facing starvation there, and a further 1 million people are classified as being on the brink of famine. And we have more about the story in the following report.
The Food and Agriculture Organization FAO representative in South Sudan, in a news release issued jointly with the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF and the World Food Programme WFP, said famine has become a tragic reality in parts of South Sudan and the worst fears have been realized. He said many families have exhausted every means they have to survive, explaining that these people are predominantly farmers who have lost their livestock, even their farming tools. Famine is currently affecting parts of Unity State in the northern central part of the country. A formal famine declaration means people have already started dying of hunger. The situation is the worst hunger catastrophe since fighting erupted more than 3 years ago between rival forces, the Sudan People's Liberation Army SPLA, loyal to President Salva Kiir, and the SPLA in opposition backing First Vice President Riek Machar. According to the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification IPC update released by the government, the three agencies and other humanitarian partners, 4.9 million people, more than 40% of South Sudan's population, are in need of urgent food, agriculture and nutrition assistance. The total number of food insecure people is expected to rise to 5.5 million at the height of the lean season in July if nothing is done to curb the severity and spread of the food crisis.
And moving to Congo, where several leaders in the Kasai province in the Democratic Republic of Congo have pointed accusing fingers at the government for persistent conflict in the province. 100 have died and thousands have been displaced in Central Democratic Republic of Congo in battles between security forces and the militia, who are seeking to avenge the death of the leader. And the UN United Mission there in the country recently condemned the disappointment use of force by government security forces in their response to the crisis. And President Robert Mugabe, the president of Zimbabwe, celebrated his 93rd birthday on Tuesday by pledging to remain to power in despite of growing signs of frailty and endorsing Donald Trump's brand of American nationalism. In an interview with a state-owned TV, Mugabe said that he hoped Trump, the US president, might review the sanctions imposed on him and members of his inner circle since 2003 over alleged human violations and vote rigging. Mugabe described his 51-year-old spouse, Grace, who have some observers believe is being groomed as a successor, as a very strong character, and said, and moving to Cameroon, where rights groups in the Cameroon are complaining from the government's internet shutdown action, which has been continuing for 4 weeks. And we have more about this in the following report.
In Cameroon have lost over 1.39 million US dollars as the internet shutdown in the country enters a 4th week. The government ordered the suspension of internet services to the English-speaking Northwest and Southwest since January 18, as lawyers and teachers' strike escalated into violence. In a letter to the Cameroon firms, it says the conservative estimate did not take into account the long-term effects such as the disruption of supply chains and the significant amount of remittance that Cameroon living abroad sent to the affected regions. The lobby group said it had earlier informed the government that the shutdown violated human rights. They called for taking steps to restore access to the internet in Cameroon. The mobile voice and data service companies in the country is yet to officially comment on the statement. However, the National Commission on Human Rights and Freedoms, CNDHL, in a statement has indicated that the mission of observation and investigation in respect of the cases of violations of human rights in the Northwest and Southwest regions lead to a resolution stating that it is necessary to find a neutral mediator credible and accepted by all. The group said it intends to continue to ensure a mediation in search for a durable solution that would lead to a final end of the crisis.